Well, I'm super excited to be talking about this book. It gets worse. The autobiographical two-man anthology by my neighbors, Gideon Kendall and Doug Latino. And Gideon Kendall is an Eisner Award-winning cartoonist who's worked in New York City animation, children's book illustration, and all over comics for the last art punk rock, etc. for the last 35, 40 years. And he's a fantastically talented cartoonist who teamed up with Doug Latino and a host of New York City independent cartoonists to make these American Splendor type comics. Here they are. I've got the first 5 issues. And there are stories drawn by Gideon, written by Doug about Doug's life, and stories drawn by Gideon, written by Gideon about Gideon's life, and stories written by Doug about Doug's life that are drawn by other people. So anytime you see someone, it's very funny. Anytime you see someone that doesn't look like they're from Mad Magazine, it's someone else doing a Doug Latino story. And there's a host of interesting people here. And so these are just like embarrassing stories from real life about, what have you, all kinds of stuff. I was lucky enough to get 3 stories in here because I was neighbors with these guys and I just happened to get to know them. And I've been working with Cosmic Line and Eli Schwab for a number of years, and it was really my pleasure to get CLP, Cosmic Line Productions, hooked up with this book as it was looking for a home. So let's dive in. We're not going to look at everything. It's like a 300-page book. Beautiful hardcover. Nice design. I don't know if I can show the back cover because it's got it has wild adult imagery, as can only be described. End papers are Gideon's history of moving all over New York City. I mean, like, it's dense. It's worth reading. Once you do, it's like, oh yes, this guy is clearly one of the best cartoonists in New York City. Great. So here's some pull quotes. Who we got? One of Harvey P. Cargill's guys. Who's this? I don't know. This guy wrote this book about history for Abrams. This guy who won the Doug Wright Award. Josh O'Neill from Beehive. The creator of Punk Magazine. Oh, quoting Brian Eno. Interesting. Interesting pull quote strategy. John Holmstrom. Here's a customized remarque. Why do they say remarque? You can't just say I sketched in the book. Has to be a remarque. All right. My favorite part of the remarque is that there's a stray marque over Dennis Kitchen's name, who is incredibly gracious to write this. Here he is. Raise his intro. Forward by Dennis Kitchen. That's exciting. Okay, great. In memory of Joe Matt. So, we were getting to know Joe Matt a little bit, and Joe Matt was was possibly working on a drawing for this book when he died. Possibly. All right, let's see. Look at this. We got all the people that are in here. Here's me. That's very nice. Gideon Doug, Greg Benton, Owen Bronsman, David DeGrand, Kurt Dintz. I don't know him. Neil Dvorak. I feel like I know this guy. Laura Dumm, Gary Dumm. This is a couple. They've been married since 1971. That's cool. Bob Fingerman. Wowie wow. Watch this space, Bob Fingerman. He's so good. Christopher Gomez, I don't know. This is me. Sarah Lee Grillo. This cartoonist reconnected with Eli Schwab after like 20 years. They went to school together, apparently. Danny Hellman. Nick Michiola. I don't know him. Josh Neufeld, the Josh Neufeld, Eli Nugenborgen, friend of the shows, Julie Pepito. Julie Pepito is the only artist who can upstage Gideon Kendall. It is really it's quite the thing. And friends of the show, Jason Quinones and Tony Wolf. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, here's some intro stuff that's nice, both people, and then here's Bob Fingerman. Other people's children with their smelly hands and sticky faces and shrieking youngsters. I have two shrieking youngsters. I quite enjoy them. And I happen to know that Doug Latino enjoys them as well. He does not make this face when my shrieking 3-year-old has, adorably says whatever it is she does. This Bob Fingerman, this is a lie. I love Bob Fingerman's signature. Wow. All right, these are collaborations between Julie and Gideon, and it's difficult to see where one ends and the other begins because they speak the same language oh so well. Julie Pepito's Julie, if you watch this, you'll forgive me. A big deal part with her like creative philosophy is that you're running away from boredom. You'll never be bored if your mind is active, if you're solving a creative problem, or if you're losing yourself in this like virtuosic practice that both of them are so good at. I highly recommend that you go to Julie's Instagram and see her mixed media fiber painted sculpture art. It is out of this world. My daughter's review of this book was, I want to see them naked. So good job, guys. Here's a story about a werewolf tearing out. This is such a funny. When I saw this, I really wondered how much of this is like reference photo to get the knees and all this stuff. Gideon, I wonder these things. Very nice. Oh, look at this. A story by me. So the thing about the stories by me is that there's 3 of them, and they're from like maybe across a 5+ year period. And this one is probably the last comic that I drew on paper. And I think I've got a few good panels in here. But I have a bad habit of having my lettering being way too big. And that's happening here. And I also, my last page, I obviously ran out of steam. So don't tell anybody that happened. But I do have a few moves. I thought that this banana peel on the stage gimmick was pretty cool. And then I've got, this is Doug playing drums in his in the honky tonk cover bands in Texas. This is a nice little sequence of him playing drums. Here's Doug in a classy New York City cocktail party. I don't know how to do that. Doug, you can show me how that's done. Teach me how to Dougie at your cocktail parties. Doug E. Yeah, here's Doug. This is a nice panel of him selling ad space to New York City people. And this I really regret. I can't believe I didn't have him leaning up against the panel board. So what is wrong with me? Anyway, this is the first of 3 stories I did. Okay, so here's the doctor. Look, static camera. The doctor's commenting on something. Here I am, I don't know, manipulating bathroom tiles. Oh, look, it's the Mocha Fest. Now, you'd think this is not a bad panel, right? Hey, it's not a bad panel. Like, I got Mocha Fest. I got the name and lights. These little caricatures of Eli, Doug, and Gideon. And then, let's see. This is definitely supposed to be Josh Bayer. This is Dove Torben. I think those are the only people that are like specifically in here. I just try. There's a few people that there's like super creepy comics. Yeah, here's like a gross comic old man. That's who I'm gonna be one day. No, that would never happen to me. These are not these. I am not good at portraits and caricature. I really tried hard, and there's a few times where I captured Doug Latino pretty well. He's a good friend of mine, so I know what this guy looks like. And I think I did a decent job. But this looks like Eli Nugenborgen. Let's see. Where am I better? But the problem is, anyway, here's the problem. This Mocha Fest convention panel, like you turn the page and it's the same panel drawn by Gideon as a splash. So it's like, why do I do this? Why did you guys lay this out like this? What is wrong with you? I love it. This is an incredible panel. Anyway, that's my story. This drawing looks like Doug Latino, pretty good. And I was figuring out some rendering stuff with the graphite, mixing the graphite. You know what it was? I was looking at a lot of Eric Powell. Or there was a time when I was looking at a lot of Eric Powell. And I thought that on this project that this was the time to sort of try to pull out the Eric Powell moves, if I could. Okay, so this is a story that starts... Okay, they're making fun of cosplayers. And then Doug tells a story where he cosplays as Tom Jones, and what is it, 1972? With Janice. Here's this girl that he held up on a pedestal. The thing is, Gideon makes it look easy. It's like he's like an Olympic athlete. The acting is always on point. The camera's on point. All these choices that he's making with like layout. When Gideon's Marley's Ghost book comes out, hopefully for Christmas, I'm sure, I'll go through that book. This guy's layout is unbelievable. Anyway, then there's an ad for if you want these hats. If you want this umbrella, I suppose you could get it. I think this is by Sarah. She's pretty good. This looks like what I was talking about last video. Barry Windsor Smith's Rune, right? Rune with no jaw. The cosmic vampire. So this is nice. The joy of I love playing drums really comes through here. This is a very Doug Latino is not always easy to draw. You capture pretty well Sarah Girl, but you actually capture Rose Latino very, very well in these. And these are the girls. I really have gotten to know these people, so it's interesting. This is a great new comic that they did. It's a conversation between the two creators here, and then this is my second comic, and this is probably one of my first all digital efforts. Maybe my second or third story I did all digitally. So there's some good stuff going on here, I think. Some of my lettering is better than others. I think this is lettering without like any grid or any guidelines. And there's some times where I'm pretty even-handed with it. The guy who really inspired me to do that is Alex Robinson, who's his resistance to the Ames guide yields a very warm, organic imperfection to his lines. They're like 90% very, very, very straight, and then there's just a little bit of a human touch that sort of gets them off balance, which is, I think you can see that happening here a little bit. This one's a little rough, but parts of this are pretty good. This is a good panel, I think. Here's some ambitious lettering, some good acting, I think. Good exaggerated cartoon acting. And here's a nice wide panel. Look at this black foreground element. Pat myself on the back. And I think I captured, I know this cartoon child is a young lady who I've known for several years now, and I did capture a little bit of her in some of these drawings. So that's very funny. This is Tony Wolf, the Tony Wolf. Tony Wolf, one day I gotta tone one of your stories for you. Tone or color or something like that. Really, really good. Meticulous. Attention to detail. Tony, you drew all these things. Oh my gosh. Hey, there's the Rockford Peaches. There you go. Did you guys see the new, what's this called? League of Their Own TV show? I think it's on Amazon. I saw the pilot. I enjoyed it. I did not watch the rest of it, but I did enjoy the pilot. Tony Wolf, this is probably one of your best acting, some of your best acting panels I've ever seen you do. Good for you. Yeah, here's the family, the Latinos. Okay, this is a Julie and Gideon drawing, and here's one of his minor threat shirt being belligerent. Always with the belligerence. Very introspective about being a little shit. He's very frequently like he's fucking with the guy with the headgear. Oh, all the pacing, such like look at that. This is the layout. This is that body language cinematic Frank Miller Daredevil. This is the thing about Gideon Kendall. He takes this this Mort Drucker, Jack Davis, like aesthetic, and then he mixes it with like the Frank Miller like layout sensibilities that give you the high drama, and and he's not bullshitting. It's a very, very effective combination. How long is this video? 16 minutes so far. I can go through this whole book. Look at this, beating the hell out of each other behind the school. He just gets old. He gets older and older and older. Part 5 of the fights. Oh my God, this poor man. Part 6. This is like on tour with a band. Oh my God. I thought this was when I read this, it's one of the most human things. It's scheming to smack his constantly melting down son, and then dreaming of the day when his son will be able to beat him in a fight. And I remember getting angry with my dad and actually wrestling to the ground, and it lasted about 5 seconds because we just started laughing. But so I found this very, 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 very funny. That happened when I was 15. Yeah, but I was in good shape then. I was wrestling. All right, this is Sarah Grillo. Oh, great. So look, you can see Sarah Grillo improving her craft from one story to the next. That's the idea. That's the theme in my 3 stories too, my friends. Juicy. Oh my God, I have not read this story. Maybe I have. I don't know. Doug being manipulated by a sorority girl. Oh my gosh. Yowza. This is the thrills. What passes are thrills when you're married and over 50 by Julie and Gideon. So I guess written by Julie with Gideon and drawn by Gideon. Yeah, is that right? There's almost some places like this could be a drawing that Julie penciled. These could be. Yeah, let me know. Let me know in the chat, friends. All right, so this is my last story, and I think so. When I was doing this story, I was looking heavily at Otto Nuckel and Lynn Ward at early 20th century wordless woodcut novels, and I wanted to capture that very high contrast style. Oh, my kid's out of bed. So anyway, you can see me trying to do that with heavy screen tone and high contrast, and just a touch of airbrush, I think, when I can. And yeah, always trying to play with the grid, play with the camera, play with the chaos, play with the energy. So the party next door gets wilder and wilder, and he shuts off their power. and then I tried to get it as my goal of the story was to gradually get it as absolutely loud as I possibly could, and then get it as peaceful as I possibly could. And there's more. There's much more. But this is a 20-minute video, and you get the idea. You can find this book at Cosmic Lion Productions, blah, blah, blah.com. It's a great book, and it's really in the spirit of like, like Weirdo and American Splendor and all these things. So that's that. Like Von Bodie, I'm a Cheech Wizard, never quitting. So won't you listen? Semper Comics.